Life has a curious way of teaching lessons, not through whispers but through echoes. When someone chooses to let you go, it often feels like a wound. But in reality it is a mirror, a reflection of their inability to see the treasure in front of them. And in the silence that follows, something profound happens. They begin to realize the gravity of their mistake. We often overlook the simple yet profound truth that people only begin to understand the value of something once it is no longer within their grasp. The value of presence is a concept as old as time, yet it remains one of the most underestimated aspects of human relationships. It is not until someone's presence transforms into absence that the true weight of their being is felt. Presence is not merely about physical proximity, it is the intangible essence that a person brings into our lives. It's the warmth of their energy, the comfort of their voice, and the reassurance of their existence that fills the spaces in our days. The presence is the quiet hum of connection that soothes the soul and anchors us to a shared experience. It is a living proof of love, care, and attention that weaves itself into the fabric of our lives. Yet, like the air we breathe, it often goes unnoticed until it's gone. In relationships, presence is the silent thread that holds everything together. It manifests in the small moments that we often take for granted: the sound of footsteps in the hall, the way they hum a tune absent-mindedly, or the shared glances that speak volumes without the need for words. These seemingly insignificant details form a tapestry of connection, one that quietly sustains us without demanding recognition. But human nature has an unfortunate tendency to grow complacent with what is readily available. When someone is always there, their presence becomes part of the background, blending seamlessly into the rhythm of daily life. The mind, preoccupied with the pursuit of the extraordinary, begins to see the familiar as mundane. And so the value of presence remains hidden beneath the veil of routine. It is only when absence takes its place that this veil is lifted. The spaces once filled with their laughter and their touch now echo with silence, and the heart feels the weight of what it has lost. What once seemed ordinary now takes on extraordinary significance. The warmth of their presence, once dismissed as commonplace, becomes a memory that aches with longing. This realization often arrives too late, when the chance to appreciate their presence has already slipped away. Regret sets in for the moments that were ignored, the gratitude that was never expressed, and the love that was taken for granted. It is in their absence that the mind replays every interaction, searching for what was overlooked, wishing for one more moment to feel their presence again. The loss of presence leaves a void that cannot easily be filled. No replacement can replicate the unique essence of a person, their quirks, their kindness, their spirit. Each individual carries a singular energy that cannot be duplicated. When they leave, they take that part of the world with them, leaving behind a hollow space where their presence once brought fullness. This understanding is not limited to profound losses. It extends to the subtle, everyday experiences of human connection. A friend moving away, a loved one growing distant, or even the temporary absence of someone close, all serve as reminders of how deeply presence shapes our lives. It is not until we are confronted with these moments that we fully comprehend the gift of having someone by our side. The irony is that presence is one of the most fragile and fleeting aspects of existence. It is constantly changing, always in flux, and never guaranteed. This impermanence is what makes it so precious, yet so easy to overlook. By the time its value is truly understood, it is often beyond reach, a lesson etched into the heart through the ache of loss. The value of presence is not measured by grand gestures or dramatic moments. It lies in the subtle and profound impact that someone's being has on the lives they touch, a quiet yet irreplaceable force that enriches our existence in ways we only realize when it is no longer there. The essence of self-worth lies in understanding that your value exists independently of external validation. It is an intrinsic truth, unshaken by the opinions or recognition of others. Many spend their lives searching for approval, believing that their significance is measured by how others perceive them. Yet the reality is that self-worth is an inward journey, one that requires neither acknowledgement nor praise to thrive. True self-worth begins with the recognition of your inherent value. It is not something that can be given or taken away by anyone else. From the moment of existence, each individual possesses a uniqueness that sets them apart, a combination of qualities, strengths, and experiences that cannot be replicated. This is not earned or granted, it simply is. The challenge lies in seeing it clearly, for the noise of the world often drowns out this quiet truth. Validation, on the other hand, is a fleeting pursuit. It hinges on the changing tides of opinions, shifting with the moods and preferences of others. What is praised today may be criticized tomorrow, leaving those who seek it caught in an endless cycle of striving and uncertainty. This dependence on external approval creates a fragile foundation, one that can crumble with a single word of disapproval or indifference. When you base your sense of worth on external factors, you hand over control of your identity to forces beyond your reach. You become vulnerable to the whims of others, bending and shaping yourself to fit their expectations, all in the hope of receiving a fleeting sense of acceptance. This is a hollow victory, for the approval gained in this way never truly satisfies. It may provide a temporary sense of accomplishment, but it does not touch the core of who you are. Self-worth, by contrast, is a quiet and unshakable force. It does not demand recognition, nor does it falter in the face of rejection. It comes from a deep understanding of yourself, your strengths and weaknesses, your dreams and fears, your successes and failures. It is about embracing the whole of who you are without judgment or comparison. This acceptance creates a solid foundation, one that remains steady even in the face of criticism or adversity. Cultivating self-worth requires turning inward and silencing the voices that seek to define you. It is about looking at yourself with honesty and compassion, acknowledging both your light and your shadows. This is not an easy task, for it requires confronting the doubts and insecurities that often cloud our perception of ourselves. Yet it is in this process that true growth and empowerment occur. The beauty of self-worth is that it is self-sustaining. It does not rely on others to flourish. It grows from within, nourished by self-awareness and self-acceptance. When you understand your worth, you no longer seek validation from others, because you no longer need it. Instead, you become free to live authentically, guided by your values and aspirations rather than the expectations of others. This shift in perspective transforms how you approach life and relationships. When you value yourself, you set boundaries that protect your energy and well-being. You no longer settle for less than you deserve, nor do you feel the need to prove your worth to anyone. Your confidence becomes rooted in the knowledge of your own value, rather than the fleeting affirmations of others. The world often rewards conformity and discourages individuality, making the journey towards self-worth a challenging one. Yet it is in embracing your uniqueness and standing firm in your truth that you find liberation. Self-worth allows you to move through life with a sense of purpose and authenticity, unshaken by the opinions of others. It is a quiet strength, one that radiates from within and inspires others to see their own value. Self-worth is not about being flawless or perfect. It is about knowing that you are enough exactly as you are, and living from that place of inner certainty. It is a gift you give yourself, one that transforms your life in profound and lasting ways. Every individual carries a distinct essence, a combination of traits, experiences, and perspectives that no one else can replicate. This irreplaceable uniqueness is not just a poetic idea, it is a fundamental truth of existence. It is what sets each person apart, a mosaic of qualities that cannot be duplicated, no matter how similar someone else may seem on the surface. Understanding this uniqueness is essential, for it shapes how we view ourselves and others. From the moment of birth, each person embarks on a journey shaped by their experiences, choices, and interactions. These factors combine to create a singular perspective on the world. Even two people who share the same environment will interpret and respond to it differently. This divergence arises from the intricate interplay of their inner worlds, a reflection of their individuality. It is this personal lens that makes every person's contribution to the world distinctive. Uniqueness is not confined to grand achievements or exceptional talents. It is present in the small, everyday details, the way someone laughs, the phrases they use, the rhythm of their thoughts. It is found in the way they solve problems, offer comfort, or view beauty. These nuances, often overlooked, are what make each person's presence so significant. They add color and texture to the fabric of human connection, creating bonds that are as distinct as the individuals themselves. This irreplaceable uniqueness is what makes the absence of a person so profoundly felt. When someone leaves, whether through distance, time, or loss, their specific energy and presence cannot be substituted. No matter how much we try to fill the void, there remains a gap that only they could occupy. This realization often comes too late, in moments of reflection or regret, when we recognize the singular value of what we had. The concept of uniqueness also underscores the beauty of relationships. Each connection is a meeting of two unique worlds, a dynamic exchange that cannot be replicated elsewhere. The shared memories, inside jokes, and mutual understanding are exclusive to that relationship. They are shaped by the unique characteristics of both individuals, creating something entirely their own. When one person is removed from this equation, what remains is a reminder of the irreplaceable nature of that bond. This understanding extends beyond personal relationships. In every context, whether in work, art, or community, individual contributions carry a uniqueness that cannot be duplicated. A person's ideas, creativity, and perspective enrich their surroundings in ways that are entirely their own. This is why attempts to compare or replace individuals often fall short. No one else can bring the exact same combination of insight, passion, and personality to the table. Recognizing the irreplaceable uniqueness of others can transform how we view and treat people. It fosters a sense of appreciation and respect, encouraging us to see beyond surface-level similarities or differences. When we understand that each person is a one-of-a-kind creation, it becomes easier to value their presence and contributions. It also reminds us to cherish the connections we share, knowing that they are as unique as the individuals involved. For the self, embracing this uniqueness is a source of empowerment. It is an acknowledgement that your worth is not contingent on comparison or competition. Instead, it resides in the fact that there is no one else like you. This realization liberates you from the need to conform or seek external validation. It allows you to celebrate your individuality and offer your authentic self to the world without hesitation. The irreplaceable uniqueness of each person is both a gift and a responsibility. It is a gift because it enriches life with diversity, making every moment and interaction a potential discovery. It is a responsibility because it calls on us to honor and express our uniqueness fully, without fear or doubt. When we do, we not only fulfill our potential, but also inspire others to recognize and embrace their own. In every life there exists a signature, a mark that no one else can leave. It is the imprint of uniqueness, a testament to the singular journey of an individual. This truth reminds us that every person we encounter is one of a kind, offering something to the world that no one else can. Regret is often viewed as a painful emotion, something to be avoided or erased. Yet it carries within it the potential to be one of life's most profound teachers. To feel regret is to confront the consequences of choices made, paths not taken, or words left unsaid. It is a mirror held up to the soul, reflecting the moments when actions or inactions fell short of our values or desires. Though it can be uncomfortable, regret offers a unique opportunity for growth and self-understanding. At its core, regret arises from the tension between who we are and who we aspire to be. It reveals the gap between intention and outcome, shedding light on our imperfections and vulnerabilities. While this can be a humbling experience, it is also an invitation to explore the deeper layers of ourselves. Regret asks us to examine why we acted or failed to act the way we did, uncovering the motivations, fears, or misunderstandings that shaped our decisions. This introspection can be transformative. Regret forces us to confront truths about ourselves that we might otherwise ignore. It challenges the ego, breaking down the illusions we create to shield ourselves from discomfort. In doing so, it opens the door to greater self-awareness. By examining the source of regret, we gain insight into our values and priorities. We learn what truly matters to us, often in a way that no other experience can reveal. Regret is also a teacher of empathy. When we reflect on moments where we may have caused harm, even unintentionally, we gain a deeper understanding of the impact of our actions on others. This understanding fosters compassion, not only for those we may have wronged, but also for ourselves. To acknowledge regret is to recognize our shared humanity, the inevitability of mistakes, and the ongoing nature of learning. This perspective allows us to approach others with greater kindness and patience, knowing that they too carry the weight of their own regrets. Regret is a guide for future behavior. It sharpens our decision-making by reminding us of the lessons from past experiences. The sting of regret becomes a motivator, encouraging us to act with greater intention and integrity. It urges us to take responsibility for our choices, knowing that they shape not only our lives, but also the lives of those around us. In this way, regret becomes a compass pointing us toward paths that align more closely with our values and aspirations. While regret can be a powerful catalyst for growth, its true potential lies in how we choose to respond to it. Dwelling on regret without seeking resolution can lead to stagnation, a state where we are consumed by what might have been. However, when approached with an open and reflective mindset, regret becomes an active force for change. It teaches resilience, showing us that even in the face of mistakes, there is always the possibility of redemption and renewal. The lessons of regret extend beyond personal growth. They shape how we relate to the world. Regret reminds us of the importance of presence and mindfulness, urging us to fully engage with the moments and opportunities before us. It teaches us to speak our truths, express our feelings, and take chances, knowing that the pain of regret often stems from what is left undone or unsaid. In this way, regret encourages us to live more authentically, to embrace the imperfection of life while striving to make the most of it. Regret also highlights the interconnectedness of our choices. It reveals how our actions ripple outward, affecting others in ways we may not have anticipated. This awareness deepens our understanding of responsibility and the delicate balance of relationships. It reminds us that while we cannot change the past, we can learn from it to create a better future for ourselves and those we touch. Regret is not an indictment of who we are, but a reflection of our capacity to care deeply. To feel regret is to recognize the significance of our choices, the value of our connections, and the desire to live in alignment with our truest selves. It is a teacher that, if embraced, guides us toward greater wisdom, compassion, and purpose. In its lessons, we find the strength to move forward, not despite our mistakes, but because of what they have taught us. Loss is an inevitable part of the human experience. And while it often brings pain and sorrow, it also holds the potential for profound growth. To lose something or someone deeply meaningful is to be thrust into a space where life feels uncertain and altered. Yet within this disorientation lies the seed of transformation. Loss challenges the familiar, forcing us to reevaluate our perceptions, priorities, and understanding of ourselves. It breaks us open, revealing the depth of our resilience and the possibilities for renewal. In moments of loss, the world often feels smaller, as though a vital part of it has vanished. This absence, however, creates a space for reflection. It prompts questions that may have remained unasked in the comfort of normalcy. What truly matters? What is worth pursuing? How can one honor what has been lost while moving forward? These questions are not merely philosophical, they become anchors in the process of navigating change, helping to redefine purpose and meaning. Loss also teaches the impermanence of all things. This truth, though difficult to accept, is a profound teacher of growth. To recognize impermanence is to see life with greater clarity, understanding that moments and relationships are precious precisely because they are fleeting. This awareness shifts how we engage with the world, encouraging a deeper appreciation for what remains and a renewed commitment to living fully in the present. The pain of loss often uncovers layers of strength we did not know we possessed. It is in the aftermath of heartbreak or disappointment that resilience is forged. This resilience is not about avoiding pain, but learning to carry it with grace, allowing it to shape and refine us. It reveals the capacity to endure, adapt, and rebuild, even when faced with profound challenges. Through this process, we discover that we are far stronger than we imagined, capable of navigating storms that once seemed insurmountable. Loss can also deepen our sense of connection. In moments of grief or change, we often turn to others for support, finding comfort in shared experiences and understanding. These connections become a source of healing, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. At the same time, loss heightens our empathy for others, allowing us to approach their pain with greater compassion. This shared vulnerability creates bonds that are both meaningful and enduring, offering solace and strength in the face of adversity. The growth that comes from loss is often marked by a shift in perspective. What once seemed vital may now appear less significant, while overlooked aspects of life take on new importance. This realignment of priorities can lead to greater authenticity as we shed what no longer serves us and embrace what truly resonates. It is a process of refinement, a return to the essence of who we are and what we value most. In many cases, loss becomes a catalyst for creativity and self-expression. The emotions stirred by loss, grief, longing, and hope are powerful forces that drive introspection and innovation. They push us to find new ways of understanding and articulating our experiences, whether through art, writing, or other forms of creation. In this way, loss not only shapes our inner world, but also contributes to the beauty and depth of the outer world. Loss also invites us to embrace change. It disrupts the illusion of permanence, reminding us that life is a continuous flow of beginnings and endings. While this can be unsettling, it also opens the door to new opportunities and experiences. By accepting the inevitability of change, we free ourselves from the need to cling to the past, allowing space for growth and renewal. The journey of growth beyond loss is not linear. It is marked by moments of progress and setbacks of light and shadow. Yet each step forward carries the wisdom gained from what was left behind. Loss, in its own way, becomes a guide, showing us how to navigate the complexities of life with greater courage, humility, and grace. It reminds us that even in the face of endings, there is always the potential for new beginnings, shaped by the lessons and strength we carry forward. Time is one of the most pervasive forces governing human existence. Yet its essence is elusive and abstract. We measure it meticulously, divide it into neat segments, and build our lives around its rhythm. However, upon closer examination, time reveals itself not as a fixed reality, but as a construct shaped by perception and experience. This illusion holds profound implications for how we live, what we prioritize, and how we make sense of the fleeting nature of existence. Time is a mental framework, a way for the human mind to organize and interpret the flow of events. We think in terms of past, present, and future, assuming these divisions are as concrete as the ground beneath our feet. Yet the past is nothing more than a collection of memories, stored in the mind and subject to distortion. The future, on the other hand, is entirely hypothetical, a realm of possibilities that may never come to pass. Only the present exists tangibly, unfolding moment by moment, yet even this slips through our fingers as soon as we try to grasp it. The illusion of time becomes evident when we reflect on how it is experienced. A single hour can feel like an eternity in moments of discomfort, yet it vanishes in an instant during periods of joy or deep engagement. These distortions reveal that time is not an objective reality, but a subjective experience shaped by attention, emotion, and perspective. What we perceive as time is not universal, it is as fluid and malleable as our state of mind. This illusion also influences how we view our lives. We are often caught between dwelling on the past and anticipating the future, rarely fully inhabiting the present. Regrets about what has been and fears about what might be create a sense of tension, pulling us away from the immediacy of now. The mind's preoccupation with these imagined timelines creates a barrier to experiencing life as it unfolds. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, and yet our focus on them shapes how we engage with the one reality we truly possess, the present. The constructs of time also impose a sense of urgency that dictates how we live. We speak of time as if it were a commodity, something to be spent, saved, or wasted. This perspective creates a constant pressure to achieve, to be productive, to meet deadlines that, in many cases, are arbitrary. This urgency can prevent us from noticing the richness of the moment. As we rush through life chasing goals that are often tied to a future we can never fully predict or control. Time, in its illusory nature, also has a profound relationship with identity. We often define ourselves through the lens of the past, our memories, experiences, and achievements. At the same time, we project ourselves into the future, imagining who we will become and what we will accomplish. Yet who we are in this moment is not bound by these constructs. The self is ever-changing, shaped by the present, rather than fixed in the timelines of what was or what might be. This understanding of time invites a shift in how we live. It encourages a deeper awareness of the present, the only space where life truly occurs. When we see through the illusion of time, we recognize that the present moment is not merely a stepping stone to some distant destination, but the essence of existence itself. This realization fosters a sense of freedom, releasing us from the burdens of the past and the anxieties of the future. The illusion of time reminds us of the interconnectedness of all moments. The present is not isolated, it is a continuum where the past and future converge. What we do now reverberates across time, shaping the memories we create and the possibilities we bring into being. By honoring the present, we honor the entirety of life's flow, transcending the limitations of a linear understanding of time. The illusion of time is not a flaw, but a reflection of the mind's attempt to make sense of existence. When we understand this, we can engage with time more consciously, recognizing it as a tool rather than a master. This awareness allows us to live with greater clarity, embracing the impermanence of each moment, while finding deeper meaning in its unfolding. Through this lens, time becomes not a constraint, but an invitation to fully experience the richness and mystery of life. Every choice we make sets off a chain of events that extends far beyond our immediate understanding. Like a pebble dropped into a still pond, the ripples spread outward, touching shores we cannot see. The choices, both large and small, carry consequences that shape not only our lives but also the lives of those around us. This interconnected web of cause and effect reveals the profound influence we wield and underscores the responsibility inherent in every decision. Each choice is rooted in intention, a reflection of our values, beliefs, and priorities. Even decisions that seem inconsequential contribute to the larger tapestry of our lives. They form patterns, habits, and trajectories that guide us towards certain outcomes while steering us away from others. Over time, the cumulative effect of these choices creates the framework of our existence, shaping who we are and how we engage with the world. Yet the impact of a choice does not end with us. It extends outward, influencing others in ways we often cannot predict. A kind gesture, for example, can uplift someone in a moment of need, creating a ripple of positivity that may inspire them to extend kindness to others. Similarly, a careless action can cause unintended harm, setting off a chain reaction that affects not only the immediate parties involved, but also those they interact with. In this way, every choice becomes a thread in the intricate fabric of human connection. The ripple effect of choices also highlights the interdependence of life. No decision exists in isolation. Each is made within a context of relationships, circumstances, and shared environments. Our choices intersect with the choices of others, creating a dynamic interplay that shapes collective experiences. This interconnectedness means that even the smallest actions can contribute to significant changes over time. A single voice advocating for change, for instance, can inspire a movement that transforms the course of history. Recognizing the ripple effect encourages mindfulness in decision-making. It invites us to pause and consider the broader implications of our actions, not only for ourselves, but also for the world around us. This awareness fosters a sense of responsibility, reminding us that our choices carry weight and that we have the power to influence the lives of others. Whether through words, actions, or intentions, what we put into the world inevitably comes back to us in some form, echoing through the interconnected web of existence. The ripple effect also teaches humility. While we have the power to influence, we cannot always control the outcomes of our choices. The ripples we create may take paths we did not anticipate, leading to results that are beyond our understanding. This uncertainty is a reminder of the complexity of life and the limits of human foresight. It encourages us to approach our choices with both conviction and openness, accepting that, while we can guide our actions, we must also embrace the unpredictability of their effects. There is beauty in the idea that small, intentional choices can create ripples of transformation. A decision to listen deeply to someone can foster understanding and connection. A choice to pursue personal growth can inspire those around us to embark on their own journeys of self-discovery. These seemingly modest actions carry the potential to shape the course of lives in ways that are both subtle and profound. The ripple effect is not confined to positive outcomes. It also reveals the consequences of neglect or harm. Choices rooted in selfishness or disregard can spread negativity, fracturing relationships and creating cycles of pain. This reality underscores the importance of acting with integrity and awareness, recognizing that the ripples we send out have the power to heal or harm. The ripple effect of choices reminds us of the immense potential contained within each moment. Every decision, no matter how small, holds the power to shape the future in ways we cannot fully grasp. By acting with intention, compassion, and a sense of responsibility, we contribute to a world that reflects these values. In this way, the ripples we create become part of a greater current, carrying forward the possibility for growth, connection, and transformation. Moving on is an act of quiet strength, a profound declaration of self-worth and resilience. It is not loud or attention-seeking, nor is it tied to grand displays of finality. Instead, it is a steady and deliberate journey inward, where the focus shifts from what was to what can be. The power of moving on lies in its ability to transform pain into wisdom, loss into opportunity, and endings into beginnings. It is a silent force, yet it carries the capacity to reshape our lives in meaningful and lasting ways. When faced with hurt, disappointment, or betrayal, the instinct to hold on can be strong. The mind clings to what is familiar, even if it causes pain, out of a desire to make sense of the experience. Moving on does not dismiss or deny this pain, it acknowledges it fully. It requires the courage to face emotions honestly, to grieve what has been lost, and to let go of the illusions that tether us to the past. This process is not an erasure, but a reconciliation, a way of honoring what has been while choosing not to be bound by it. The power of moving on lies in its quiet refusal to allow circumstances or people to dictate the course of our lives. It is a reclaiming of agency, a choice to prioritize growth and healing over resentment or regret. This shift in focus liberates us from the weight of past events, freeing us to explore the possibilities that lie ahead. It is not about forgetting or ignoring what has happened, but about integrating those experiences into a broader narrative of personal evolution. Moving on also reveals the strength that comes from within. It teaches us that we are not defined by the actions of others or the challenges we face, but by how we choose to respond. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a testament to our resilience. This inner strength grows with every act of self-compassion, every decision to prioritize peace over turmoil, and every choice to focus on what truly matters. The process of moving on often involves redefining our relationship with time. It shifts the emphasis from dwelling on the past or fearing the future to embracing the present. In this space we find clarity and perspective, recognizing that the past, while it has shaped us, does not have to confine us. The future, though uncertain, becomes an open field of potential, filled with opportunities for renewal and discovery. There is a profound dignity in the quiet act of moving on. It is a strength that does not seek validation or acknowledgement, a transformation that occurs within the depths of our being. It is a reminder that healing does not require external approval or recognition. It is a deeply personal journey that unfolds at its own pace. In this stillness we find not only solace but also a renewed sense of purpose and direction. Moving on allows us to reclaim our power. It teaches us that we do not need to remain entangled in situations or relationships that no longer serve our growth. It is an act of self-respect, a way of affirming that we are worthy of peace and fulfillment. This reclamation of power is not about control, but about freedom to choose how we respond, how we grow, and how we move forward. The silent power of moving on lies in its ability to transform pain into a source of strength. It shows us that even the most difficult experiences carry lessons that can guide us toward greater understanding and resilience. In letting go of what no longer serves us, we create space for new opportunities, connections, and experiences. We learn to trust in our ability to navigate life's uncertainties, knowing that every ending is also a beginning. This journey is not without its challenges. It requires patience, courage, and faith in the process. Yet with each step forward, the weight of the past begins to lift, replaced by a sense of lightness and possibility. Moving on is not a single act, but a continuous unfolding, a practice of choosing peace and growth over bitterness and stagnation. It is a quiet revolution, a way of reclaiming the fullness of life, one moment at a time. In the journey of life, the silent power of moving on serves as a vital catalyst for personal transformation and growth. By embracing the process of letting go, we honor our experiences while reclaiming our agency and inner strength. Moving on is not merely an act of leaving behind, it is a profound declaration of self-worth and a commitment to living fully in the present. Each step taken toward healing not only liberates us from the burdens of the past, but also opens the door to new possibilities, relationships, and opportunities that enrich our lives. The power of moving on lies in its ability to reshape our narrative, allowing us to evolve into more resilient, compassionate, and authentic versions of ourselves. As we navigate the complexities of life, let us remember that every ending is, in fact, a new beginning, a chance to embrace the future with hope and courage, ready to create a life that reflects our true essence. We live in a world where harm is almost inevitable, where we are wounded in ways we cannot always foresee or understand. People hurt us, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unknowingly, but the truth remains, we all experience hurt. Now we must face a powerful question. How does God deal with those who hurt us? In the throes of pain, we often forget that every experience, however harsh, has its place in the grand dance of life. It's easy to see ourselves as victims, and in a way we are. Victims of our expectations, our attachments, and yes, our very own egos. But what if I told you that the very hurt you feel is an invitation to see beyond the surface, an invitation to open your heart in ways you never thought possible? We live in a world where harm is almost inevitable. It is woven into the fabric of human experience, where we are wounded in ways that we cannot always foresee or understand. People hurt us, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unknowingly, but the truth remains. We all experience hurt at some point in our lives. It may come from someone we trust, someone we love, or even from a stranger. It can be a sharp pain, a subtle wound, or something more deeply ingrained in our hearts. It seems at times that pain is an unavoidable part of this life we've been given. Yet there is a question we must face, one that we often avoid because it is not easy to contemplate. How does God deal with those who hurt us? In the throes of pain, we often forget that every experience, however harsh, has its place in the grand dance of life. It is in these moments, when we feel betrayed or abandoned, that we can lose sight of the deeper truth. We begin to see ourselves as victims of people, of circumstances, of fate itself. And in a way we are. We are victims of our own expectations, our attachments, and yes, our very own egos. We believe we are entitled to love, fairness, respect, and when we are denied these things, we are shocked, hurt, and confused. But what if I told you that the very hurt you feel is not just a punishment, but an invitation? An invitation to see beyond the surface of your life. An invitation to open your heart in ways you never thought possible. We have been taught to see suffering as a punishment for our sins, a consequence of our mistakes. And while that may sometimes be true in certain aspects of our lives, it is not the whole story. Hurt does not come to us because we have been bad people or because we deserve it. It comes because life, in its infinite wisdom, uses suffering to reveal the most profound lessons. The pain you experience is not punishment. It is a chance for growth, a chance for you to transcend the small, limited view you have of yourself and the world. It is a chance to step into something larger, something deeper, something that aligns you with the very heart of God. Forgiveness, as difficult as it may seem, is the key to unlocking this deeper truth. But it is not forgiveness for the other person. It is forgiveness for you. The act of forgiving does not erase the harm that was done, nor does it excuse the actions of those who caused it. Instead, it releases you from the chains of resentment and anger that keep you bound to the pain. When we choose to forgive, we are not doing it for the person who wronged us. We are doing it for ourselves. We are choosing to break free from the grip that this hurt has on our hearts. Forgiveness is an act of divine grace, an act that frees us to move forward, to heal, and to become whole again. And yet, there is something more subtle happening here. When we forgive, we align ourselves with the flow of God's love. In the human realm, justice often looks like retribution. We want revenge. We want to make the other person feel the pain that we've felt. We want balance, fairness, and payback. But God's justice is not the same as ours. It does not seek revenge or punishment. God's justice is a deep, mysterious flow of love and understanding that operates on a far grander scale than we can comprehend. It is a process that unfolds with the wisdom of the universe, not in a linear, expected manner. It teaches us that every action, every harm, every betrayal is part of a much larger story, one that spans far beyond our personal grievances. Those who hurt us are often caught in their own struggles. They too are human beings, navigating their own pain, their own ego, and their own limitations. They may be unaware of the harm they have caused, or they may be trapped in patterns of behavior they cannot break free from. In the same way, we are often unaware of the ways in which we harm others, knowingly or but God in His infinite wisdom uses every experience, every painful encounter, to guide us toward understanding and healing. He uses our suffering to carve us into vessels of greater love, greater compassion, and greater resilience. The pain we experience is not meaningless. It is part of the divine plan, a plan that is beyond our immediate comprehension, but one that always seeks our greater good. When we begin to shift our perspective, when we stop seeking retribution and instead choose to respond with love, we begin to glimpse something far greater. In every moment of hurt, God is inviting us to mirror His love. He is inviting us to respond to pain not with bitterness, but with compassion. The more we embrace this divine love, the more we understand that love is the ultimate force. Love transcends pain, love transcends ego, and love transcends all the ways we have been wrong. It is easy to focus on the pain, to hold on to the hurt, to stay trapped in the cycle of bitterness. But when we do this, we remain disconnected from God's love, from the divine plan that is unfolding in our lives. True healing comes not when we seek revenge, but when we choose to respond to the harm with love, when we choose to release our anger and embrace the presence of God. This love does not erase the hurt, but it transforms it. It changes the way we see ourselves, the way we see others, and the way we experience the world. The challenge, then, is not to ask how God deals with those who hurt us, but how we will respond. Will we meet pain with love? Will we use our suffering to grow, to forgive, to transcend? For in these choices we not only heal ourselves, but we become instruments of divine healing for others. We are given the opportunity to transform every wound into an opportunity for growth, every hardship into an invitation for love. And in doing so, we align ourselves with the greatest force in the universe, the love of God, which is the true source of all healing and peace. Of God, which is the true source of all healing and peace. Forgiveness, as difficult as it may seem, is the key to unlocking this deeper truth. But it is not forgiveness for the other person, it is forgiveness for you. The act of forgiving does not erase the harm that was done, nor does it excuse the actions of those who caused it. Instead, it releases you from the chains of resentment and anger that keep you bound to the pain. When we choose to forgive, we are not doing it for the person who wronged us. We are doing it for ourselves. We are choosing to break free from the grip that this hurt has on our hearts. Forgiveness is an act of divine grace, an act that frees us to move forward, to heal, and to become whole again. In these moments of pain, we tend to forget something very important. Forgiveness is not a one-time act. It is a process. It is a continuous choice, a decision we must make again and again, each time the hurt rises within us. The bitterness doesn't disappear in a single moment. It lingers in the depths of our hearts, trying to convince us to hold on to it. But each time we choose to forgive, we choose freedom. We choose to let go, not because the other person has earned it, but because we deserve to be free from the chains of anger, resentment, and fear. Forgiveness does not deny the reality of the hurt we have experienced. It does not minimize the pain or tell us that what happened was acceptable. No, forgiveness allows us to acknowledge the wrong, to feel the pain fully, and then choose to release it. It is an act of courage. Courage to face the hurt and say, I will not let this define me. I will not let this steal my peace. I will let go. In this way, forgiveness becomes an act of self-love, of honoring our own worth. We are telling ourselves that we are worthy of peace, that we are worthy of healing, and that we are worthy of moving forward without carrying the weight of past offenses. This is where we begin to see the deeper wisdom of God's justice. Divine justice is not retribution. It does not come in the form of revenge or punishment. It is the unfolding of a cosmic order that, from our limited perspective, may seem unclear. We may not see the immediate consequences of someone's harmful actions, nor may we ever fully understand why the pain we experience is necessary. But we can trust that God's justice is far more subtle and far-reaching than our own human understanding. God's justice does not act in a linear way, nor does it meet our expectations. It operates in the realm of grace and love, where every action is part of a greater plan. Those who hurt us are often unaware of the impact of their actions. They may be caught in their own pain, their own suffering, their own limited view of the world. Just as we are sometimes blind to the harm we cause others, so too are they blind to the wounds they create. God sees the whole picture. He knows the deep pain in their hearts, just as He knows the pain in ours. In His wisdom, He allows us to experience the hurt of others, not as a form of punishment, but as a chance to grow. He uses our suffering to transform us, to teach us compassion, resilience, and understanding. When we choose to forgive, we align ourselves with this divine wisdom. We move from the limited human perspective of seeking retribution to the higher perspective of choosing love. Forgiveness invites us to see the other person not as an enemy, but as a fellow soul on a journey of learning and growth. It invites us to recognize that in their own way they are also struggling with the same forces of ego, pain, and misunderstanding that we are. The difference is that we now have the opportunity to respond with love, compassion, and understanding, rather than with bitterness and anger. The more we embrace this divine love, the more we understand that love is the ultimate force. Love transcends pain, love transcends ego, and love transcends all the ways we have been wronged. The love transcends all the ways we have been wronged. Love is not weak, nor is it naive. It is the most powerful force in the universe. Love is what heals us, what brings us back into alignment with the divine. Love is the thread that connects all of us, even when we cannot see it. When we respond to hurt with love, we are not just healing ourselves, we are healing the world. We are breaking the cycle of pain and offering a new path forward, a path that is illuminated by the light of compassion. This is the true power of God's love. It does not seek to destroy, but to restore. It does not seek to punish, but to heal. And when we choose to respond to pain with love, we are tapping into this divine power. We are becoming instruments of God's healing presence in the world. We are allowing His love to flow through us, transforming not only our own hearts, but also the hearts of those around us. Love does not erase the hurt, but it transforms the way we experience it. It turns the wound into a doorway that leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves, a deeper connection to God, and a deeper compassion for others. When we stop seeking revenge and instead choose to respond with love, we step into a new way of being, a way that transcends the ego and connects us to the divine. We begin to see that the pain we experience is not the end of the story, but the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where forgiveness, love, and compassion become the guiding forces. And in this chapter we find not only healing, but a deeper connection to God's divine plan. We see that every hurt, every betrayal, every pain is an opportunity to become more aligned with the truth of who we are. A soul, a child of God, on a journey of transformation. This is the challenge we face, not to ask how God deals with those who hurt us, but how we will respond. Will we meet pain with love? Will we choose forgiveness even when it seems impossible? Will we allow the hurt to transform us into instruments of divine healing? For it is in these choices that we become part of God's great plan, a plan that is far greater than our own understanding. It is in these choices that we find true peace, true healing, and true love. Yet there is something more subtle happening here. When we forgive, we align ourselves with the flow of God's love. In the human realm, justice often looks like retribution. We want revenge. We want to make the other person feel the pain that we've felt. We want balance, fairness, and payback. But God's justice is not the same as ours. It does not seek revenge or punishment. God's justice is a deep, mysterious flow of love and understanding that operates on a far grander scale than we can comprehend. It is a process that unfolds with the wisdom of the universe, not in a linear, expected manner. It teaches us that every action, every harm, every betrayal is part of a much larger story, one that spans far beyond our personal grievances. We must understand that our perception of justice is often clouded by our own hurt, by the egos we carry with us through life. We view the world through the lens of what we believe we deserve, and when that is violated, we feel the sting of injustice. It seems as though the scales of fairness have tipped in the wrong direction, leaving us feeling abandoned, powerless, or betrayed. But God's justice, unlike ours, does not operate based on immediate gratification or vengeance. His justice doesn't come with sharp edges or quick fixes. It is a quiet unfolding, a slow process of healing, of learning, and of reconciliation that may take years, decades, or even lifetimes to fully comprehend. In the grand scheme of things, God sees beyond our individual moments of pain. He sees the entirety of the journey, the entirety of life's intricate web. His justice is not concerned with punishing one person and elevating another in a simplistic black and white manner. Rather, it is concerned with restoring balance in ways that are often beyond our immediate understanding. Each wrong done to us may be a catalyst for our own spiritual growth, just as each wrong we commit is an opportunity for us to learn and grow. God's justice is restorative, not retributive. It doesn't seek to tear down the person who harmed us. It seeks to lift us all into a higher understanding, a more compassionate and forgiving space, a deep, mysterious flow of love and understanding that operates on a far grander scale than we can comprehend. It is a process that unfolds with the wisdom of the universe, not in a linear, expected manner. It teaches us that every action, every harm, every betrayal is part of a much larger story, one that spans far beyond our personal grievances. We must understand that our perception of justice is often clouded by our own hurt, by the egos we carry with us through life. We view the world through the lens of what we believe we deserve, and when that is violated, we feel the sting of injustice. It seems as though the scales of fairness have tipped in the wrong direction, leaving us feeling abandoned, powerless, or betrayed. But God's justice, unlike ours, does not operate based on immediate gratification or vengeance. His justice doesn't come with sharp edges or quick fixes. It is a quiet unfolding, a slow process of healing, of learning, and of reconciliation that may take years, decades, or even lifetimes to fully comprehend. In the grand scheme of things, God sees beyond our individual moments of pain. He sees the entirety of the journey, the entirety of life's intricate web. His justice is not concerned with punishing one person and elevating another in a simplistic black and white manner. Rather, it is concerned with restoring balance in ways that are often beyond our immediate understanding. Each wrong done to us may be a catalyst for our own spiritual growth, just as each wrong we commit is an opportunity for us to learn and grow. God's justice is restorative, not retributive. It doesn't seek to tear down the person who harmed us. It seeks to lift us all into a higher understanding, a more compassionate and forgiving space. Those who hurt us are often caught in their own struggles. They are human beings with their own weaknesses, their own wounds, their own fears. Just as we struggle, so do they. They may lash out because of their own pain, and they may not even fully realize the impact of their actions. But God, in His infinite wisdom, sees the whole picture. He knows the deep pain that resides in the hearts of those who harm us, just as He knows the pain in ours. His justice, therefore, does not look to punish those who wrong us. It looks to heal the underlying causes of that harm. God sees them as His children too, struggling, learning, and evolving, just as we are. In His divine plan, we are all interconnected. Our wounds and our healing are part of a greater tapestry that is being woven together by the divine hand. When someone hurts us, it may be difficult to see the bigger picture in that moment. It may feel as though we are being cast aside, abandoned, or betrayed. But in time, we may come to realize that this hurt is part of the greater process of transformation. It is part of what God is using to refine us, to help us shed the layers of ego and attachment that keep us from living fully in His love. We are given the chance to grow through suffering, to rise above it, and to become more aligned with the divine plan. God's justice, unlike human justice, does not operate through the lens of punishment. It is not about creating suffering for suffering's sake. It is about bringing healing where there was once harm, and reconciliation where there was once division. This is a difficult truth for many of us to accept, because it requires us to move beyond the desire for immediate retribution. It requires us to trust that in the end God's plan will bring about the healing we need, even when it doesn't come in the form we expect. But as we learn to trust in God's justice, we begin to release the need for control, for retribution, and for fairness as we understand it. We begin to see that the true nature of justice lies in healing, in forgiveness, and in love. In the moments when we are hurt, when the pain feels overwhelming and we want nothing more than to seek retribution, we must remember that God's justice is not like ours. His justice is far more expansive, far more loving, and far more powerful than we can imagine. When we forgive, when we let go of the need for revenge, we align ourselves with this divine justice. We become vessels of peace, of love, and of healing, allowing God's plan to unfold in our lives and in the lives of those who have wronged us. It is in this space of surrender, this space where we let go of our desire for retribution, that we find true freedom. We find the freedom to heal, to forgive, and to grow. And in this freedom we become instruments of divine justice, working alongside God to heal the world and bring about His plan of love, compassion, and restoration. So when we find ourselves hurt, when we are faced with the temptation to seek revenge or hold on to bitterness, let us remember that God's justice is always at work. It is not our job to seek punishment. It is our job to forgive, to love, and to trust that God's plan is far greater than anything we can see in the present moment. Let us align ourselves with this higher wisdom, knowing that in forgiving others we are not only healing ourselves, but also becoming part of the divine process that will bring healing to the world. When we choose to forgive, we are not only aligning ourselves with divine justice, but we are also stepping into a space of spiritual evolution. To forgive is to release the hold that the past has on us, and in doing so we liberate ourselves from the grip of anger, fear, and resentment that might otherwise define our lives. This choice, however, is not always an easy one. The wounds that others inflict upon us can feel deeply personal, and our emotional response can seem so overwhelming that the idea of forgiveness might appear impossible. But the act of forgiving is not about denying or minimizing the hurt. It is about choosing to no longer let that hurt control us. It is an act of reclaiming our own power, an act that says we will not allow the actions of others to keep us trapped in the past. Forgiveness, in this sense, is a gift we give ourselves. The person who hurt us may never ask for forgiveness, or they may never even be aware of the harm they've caused. Forgiveness, however, is not contingent upon the other person's actions. It is not a gift we offer to them, but rather a gift we offer to ourselves. By forgiving, we free ourselves from the pain that binds us. We allow ourselves to step into the present moment without being shackled by the ghosts of our past. And in doing so, we begin to experience the profound peace that comes with releasing the need for retribution. But the beauty of forgiveness is not just in the peace it brings to our own hearts. It is also in the healing it offers to the world. When we forgive, we do not just heal ourselves. We also contribute to the healing of those around us. We break the cycle of pain that has existed for generations, because when we choose to forgive, we offer the opportunity for others to heal as well. Hurt begets hurt, but love and forgiveness can also beget love. And when we forgive, we plant the seeds of compassion in our own hearts, which can then ripple out into the lives of others. It may not happen immediately, and it may not always be apparent, but the act of forgiveness has far-reaching effects. The forgiveness we extend to others has the potential to touch their hearts, to soften their wounds, and to inspire them to change. This is where the true power of God's love comes into play. God's love is not limited by the actions of others, nor is it restricted to the boundaries of our own understanding. It is all-encompassing and infinite, reaching beyond the confines of time and space. When we forgive, we tap into this infinite well of love. We allow God's love to flow through us, filling the spaces within our hearts that were once filled with bitterness, anger, and pain. This love transforms us. It heals us. It helps us to see ourselves and others not as victims and perpetrators, but as fellow souls on a journey of growth, learning, and evolution. But the beauty of forgiveness is not just in the peace it brings to our own hearts. It is also in the healing it offers to the world. When we forgive, we do not just heal ourselves, we also contribute to the healing of those around us. We break the cycle of pain that has existed for generations, because when we choose to forgive, we offer the opportunity for others to heal as well. Hurt begets hurt, but love and forgiveness can also beget love and forgiveness. When we forgive, we plant the seeds of compassion in our own hearts, which can then ripple out into the lives of others. It may not happen immediately, and it may not always be apparent, but the act of forgiveness has far-reaching effects. The forgiveness we extend to others has the potential to touch their hearts, to soften their wounds, and to inspire them to change. This is where the true power of God's love comes into play. God's love is not limited by the actions of others, nor is it restricted to the boundaries of our own understanding. It is all-encompassing and infinite, reaching beyond the confines of time and space. When we forgive, we tap into this infinite well of love. We allow God's love to flow through us, filling the spaces within our hearts that were once filled with bitterness, anger, and pain. This love transforms us. It heals us. It helps us to see ourselves and others not as victims and perpetrators, but as fellow souls on a journey of growth, learning, and evolution. Forgiveness, then, becomes a doorway into a deeper understanding of the divine. It allows us to see the world not through the lens of our own hurt, but through the lens of God's love. We begin to understand that each of us is carrying our own burdens, our own wounds, and that no one is truly immune to pain. When we see others through the eyes of compassion, when we forgive them for their wrongdoings, we begin to dissolve the walls that separate us. We begin to realize that in the grand scheme of things we are all connected. The pain we feel is not separate from the pain of others. The healing we experience is not separate from the healing of the world. And in this realization we come to understand that forgiveness is not just a personal act, it is a spiritual one. The act of forgiving requires humility. It requires us to let go of our own sense of superiority, to let go of the idea that we are somehow better or more deserving of peace than those who have wronged us. We must surrender our need to be right, our need to be justified in our hurt, and instead choose to extend grace. In doing so, we open ourselves to the profound truth that we are all flawed, that we all make mistakes, and that we are all deserving of love and compassion, regardless of the harm we may have caused or experienced. It is in this humility that we find the true power of forgiveness, the power to heal, to restore, and to transform. But it is important to note that forgiveness is not about excusing the behavior that caused us pain. It is not about saying that what happened was okay, or that we should forget about the harm done. Forgiveness is about choosing to let go of the emotional burden that comes with holding on to that pain. It is about choosing to free ourselves from the destructive cycle of resentment and to embrace the peace that comes with letting go. When we forgive, we acknowledge the hurt, we honor our feelings, and we choose to move forward with grace. This does not mean that we condone the actions of others, but that we choose to rise above them. We choose to no longer let those actions have power over us. Forgiveness is a deeply transformative process, one that requires us to confront our own wounds and to allow ourselves to heal. It is not a one-time event, but a continuous practice that we must engage in throughout our lives. Every time we are hurt, we are given the opportunity to forgive, to release, and to grow. In this way, forgiveness is not just a one-way street. It is a dynamic, ongoing process that leads to greater peace, greater love, and greater alignment with the divine. The more we forgive, the more we open ourselves to the flow of God's love, and the more we become instruments of healing in the world. When we forgive, we also begin to understand the deeper meaning of God's plan. We realize that we are not here to simply avoid pain or to seek retribution. We are here to learn, to grow, and to become more aligned with the love and compassion that God has for all His children. Every experience, every challenge, and yes, every hurt is part of the divine process of transformation. And it is through forgiveness that we begin to see the world as God sees it, not as a place of conflict and division, but as a place of healing, reconciliation, and love. In this way, forgiveness becomes not just an act of personal liberation, but a part of the greater divine purpose. Through forgiveness, we contribute to the healing of the world, to the unfolding of God's plan of love, and to the restoration of peace in a world that so desperately needs it. To truly grasp the depth of forgiveness, we must come to understand that it is not a temporary release, but a continuous process that shapes the way we relate to the world and the people in it. Forgiveness is not a one-time act where we say, "I forgive you," and move on, hoping that the pain will magically disappear. It is a decision, a commitment, that we must make each day as we face the challenges, the injustices, and the wounds that others impose upon us. It is about consistently choosing to release the pain, to let go of the emotional grip that resentment has on our hearts, and to choose love and peace instead. Forgiveness is the key to transformation, not just for ourselves, but for others as well. When we forgive, we are not only freeing ourselves from the chains of anger and bitterness, but we are also offering a pathway for others to heal. Every time we forgive, we are offering a mirror to the world, showing others that healing is possible, that it is possible to rise above the pain and to choose love instead. This act of choosing love time and time again is what begins to break the cycle of suffering. It is what begins to change the way we view the world. It shifts our focus from harm and hurt to healing and growth. Forgiveness, however, is not a denial of the pain we've experienced. It is not pretending that what happened to us was acceptable or that it didn't hurt. Instead, forgiveness is the courageous choice to look at the pain, to feel it fully, and then to let it go. It is about acknowledging the hurt in all its rawness, and yet choosing not to be controlled by it. It is about choosing to rise above the wounds, not because we are pretending they didn't exist, but because we understand that holding on to them will only keep us trapped in the past. To forgive is to say, "I will no longer let this pain define me." It is an act of reclaiming our peace, our power, and our ability to move forward. God's love, like forgiveness, is transformative. When we choose to forgive, we align ourselves with that love, and when we align ourselves with God's love, we begin to see the world differently. We begin to understand that those who hurt us are not our enemies, but fellow travelers on the journey of life. They too are struggling with their own wounds, their own pain, their own fears. Just as we sometimes lash out from a place of hurt, so too do others. The difference is that when we choose to forgive, we rise above the impulse to retaliate, to hurt back, and instead choose compassion, understanding, and love. In this way, forgiveness becomes a bridge that connects us to others in their suffering and offers a path to healing for both them and ourselves. Forgiveness in its purest form is a decision to love. It is not about forgetting what has been done or minimizing the damage that has occurred. It is not about pretending everything is fine when it is not. Forgiveness is about choosing to look beyond the wrongdoing, to see the person who wronged us as a human being with their own pain and struggles. It is about choosing to understand that everyone, at their core, is seeking love, healing, and peace, even if their actions reflect otherwise. In this way, forgiveness invites us to see others through the eyes of God. When we forgive, we open our hearts to the possibility that they too can be healed, that they too are deserving of grace, and that they too are part of God's divine plan. Forgiveness also allows us to step into the power of surrender. By forgiving, we are surrendering our need to control the outcome of the situation, our need to dictate how others should behave, and our need to see immediate consequences for the harm done. We surrender our ego's desire for retribution and instead trust in God's plan. It is not always easy to let go of the desire for justice as we see it, especially when we have been deeply hurt. But the act of surrendering is an act of faith. It is a faith that, even when we do not see it, God's justice is at work. It is a faith that, even when we do not understand how or why, God is using our suffering for a greater good, for our own growth and for the healing of the world. This is where the paradox of forgiveness comes into play. By forgiving, we actually gain freedom. We are free from the need for revenge, free from the constant weight of resentment, and free from the chains that keep us bound to the past. Forgiveness is not about giving the other person a free pass, but about setting ourselves free. We are freeing ourselves from the emotional burdens that weigh us down, from the constant replaying of old hurts, and from the exhausting energy it takes to hold on to anger. Forgiveness is not just an act of love for the other person, it is an act of love for ourselves. It is about choosing peace over conflict, love over hate, and joy over bitterness. In the end, forgiveness is the gateway to healing, both for ourselves and for others. It is a divine act that aligns us with God's love and justice. It transforms our hearts, opens us to deeper compassion, and allows us to see the world through the eyes of grace. It is not easy and it is not always immediate, but it is a choice we must make time and time again. Each time we forgive, we release the hold that the past has on us, and each time we forgive, we become more in tune with God's divine plan. We become part of the healing process, not only for ourselves, but for the world. In this way, forgiveness is not just a personal act, it is a collective one, a gift to the world, and a testament to the power of divine love at work in the world.